I suppose because SummerSlam is literally 2 weeks away, WWE woke up this morning and went, man, we better make SmackDown super duper fun, otherwise who knows what's going to happen. They went and made it super duper fun. Also, my friends, apologies that this is a very simple edit today, but as you can tell, I'm away. I am in a cabin in the woods, and obviously people die when they're in the cabin in the woods, so hopefully I will be all right. But yes, I do not have the facilities to edit a proper video today, so it's just me talking at your face, which sounds weird, but you know, we don't miss content on this channel, because that is the deal. And also, I want to talk about John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. I thought what we did on SmackDown was hilarious, which is essentially as the theme of this week's episode of SmackDown. Somebody must have gone, let's make it as dumb in the right way as possible. This is sports entertainment, to use that stupid word. Because actually, Cody Rhodes comes out, right? It's like, man, that John Cena, he's the only time I flinched ever since I came back to WWE. And what happened? I got totally screwed. I didn't flinch when I returned. I didn't flinch when I tore my pec. I didn't flinch when I took on my best friend Randy Orton. I didn't flinch when the final boss tried to take my spot. Everyone will now talk about that till the cows come home. But when I went to hit John Cena with that belt, I did flinch, and now look at me, I'm sad and down, and tears are coming out of my water devices in my face, so I've got to sort this out, and he signs the deal. He signed the deal before all that. He walked out, he signed the deal straight away. John Cena then walks out and says, can't do no match, Cody, at SummerSlam, because I've got a Netflix movie to make. So Cody Rhodes beat the crap out of him. Just that was his response. He didn't get what he wanted, so he beat him up. John Cena actually did get back into it for a little bit. He goes to hit Cody with the title. This time Cody's like, nope, he gets the championship. He smashes John Cena in the head. He then took his hand and signed the deal on John Cena's behalf. Like that's legal. I'll talk about that in just 1 second. And then announces at SummerSlam it's going to be a street fight. I think it's wonderful. I think it's smart. I think a lot of John Cena matches in this final run are bells and whistles and what's the other word people use? I can't remember now. But you know, we try and have extra fun with them to hide whatever frailties there may be there, which is way too strong. I shouldn't have said that. I think John Cena's been fine. I think people have been on this case way too much. But yes, it just means they can have a plunder match, right? And on night 2 at SummerSlam, that ain't the worst thing in the world. Go back to WrestleMania 40 and the Bloodline rules match between Cody and Roman. You know, that was just over the top and silly. Not many weapons, but totally nuts. You can do a similar thing here with a totally different vibe. But it can't be legal because you can't do this. Remember when Rhea Ripley signed a triple threat deal before WrestleMania, was it? Whenever it was. And Adam Pearce was like, you can't do that. Wrestling should allow wrestlers to do this. It's like when somebody gets eliminated from a Royal Rumble and can still throw people out. That would never make sense. It's 2 + 2 = potato. But because wrestling is so wonderful, it leans into that kind of stuff. And then sometimes it doesn't. I think they do it on a case-by-case basis, which actually is probably the right thing to do. Knowing John Cena's character, I feel like you should argue back against this. Be like, I'm sorry, Mr. Pierce or Mr. Aldis, you can't possibly sanction this based on what did go down. But it was fun, it was dumb, and it made Cody look like a bit like a badass, especially because he announced the street fight. Although at the start of the show, Adam and Cody had bumped into each other, and Cody had gone, did you put everything in the deal? So John Cena is the babyface. Nobody has told him anything about what he's actually signing. And then he was forced at essentially gunpoint to put his name down on a contract. So yeah, Cody Rhodes is another bad guy, and John Cena is the good guy. I think it'll be fun. I think Cody Rhodes will win the championship. And then I think John Cena will go babyface for the last 6 months of his run. And I am always going to cherish the first 6 months of his run. I get it. I'm the only person in the world that seems to think this. I've had a ball with it. It's a shame The Rock wasn't more involved. I'm not going to get around that. But after I realised, okay, he's not going to be here. He's off doing whatever the flub he wants to do. Let me just enjoy what I am getting. I thought some of the promos, some of the mad stuff we did, just getting to see Cena be the heel against Orton, against Punk, against whoever else it had been, was just something I never thought I was going to get. So people on the internet especially have yelled at me, going, oh, Simon, your standards are so low. I wouldn't say my standards are so low. I would say that because wrestling is the most important, the least important things, I will take what I get and then just try and find, well, how can I enjoy this in the best possible way? Some things are bad, right? Some things are just bad. For example, DQs in a gauntlet match that we did on Raw. Bad, stupid, should never have done it. Totally lame. But John Cena as a heel, even though it may not have been the perfect run, I'm still getting it. I don't let that pass me by. And maybe that makes me sound like a massive nerd. It probably does. But I'm glad I just enjoyed it for what it was. There you go. I enjoyed it for what it was on a surface level. Even though, sure, if Dwayne Johnson had been there and everything else. The Travis Scott thing. There you go. You want to talk about something that was bad. The Travis Scott thing is now an absolute disaster. I mean, I think the Travis Scott interruption at WrestleMania 41 without The Rock is when that match goes downhill. Then he comes back at whatever the flub it was. Was it back? No, it was R-Truth at Backlash. He hasn't come back since then, has he? No, he hasn't, which makes even less sense. But now, the word on the street is he just hasn't dedicated himself much to training, which is why we're getting the Jelly Roll match at SummerSlam and not a Travis Scott thing. That ain't great. That is disappointing to be involved in something that big, on that big of a stage, and the follow-up is zero. That stuff is not good. Don't like that. I think that is a mistake. I guess you have to deal with it in real time, but I don't know. What are you going to do about it? But what John Cena has done, I think it's been very funny, very entertaining. And this is the icing on the cake, especially because I guess this will be his last heel match, maybe, not so sure. Also, his point was fine. Within the world of kayfabe, we're meant to believe that John Cena has to film a movie. So very powerful people would have gone to him. You're not allowed to get physical, and Cody still beat the crap out of him. Saying the deal. So damn good. Also ties in to the other story on this show, Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. The very start of SmackDown is Solo Sikoa and his non-bloodline being involved in a car accident. Tangaloa was bleeding. This is when Cody just walked by. Didn't give a crap there was a crime scene behind him. Anyway, the answer to all of this is that Solo Sikoa apparently set it up, or whatever he did, to try and frame Jacob Fatu. That was one of the stories on the show. Now, it's very interesting that we're clearly hitting fast forward in the build to SummerSlam. Stuff like this worked. Stuff like Cody and Cena worked. Stuff like Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss didn't work as well. I'll hold off that thought in just 1 second. But that's where the balance was. I kind of felt like we could have balanced it a little bit better. But essentially, Jacob Fatu does get arrested when the police found him instantly. The police found Adam Pearce and said, "Have you seen Jacob Fatu?" Yep, he's there. It's so stupid. It's so wrestling. Jacob Fatu gets arrested after threatening to beat the cops up, which kind of made him look guilty. And surprise, surprise, as soon as Solo Sikoa and his boys were in the ring, Jacob Fatu returns. He had nothing to do with this, as the police told us. Him and Jimmy Uso absolutely destroyed the Bloodline, but not really. And as Solo Sikoa and Tanga Tonga trying to leave, Adam Pearce thought, maybe I should talk in poetry. So he said, "Oh, you want to put people behind bars? You'll be behind bars at SummerSlam." It's like when you used to read the WWF catalogue back in the day, and like the Kane mask would be on sale. It said, "Do you finally want to feel like Kane and feel the fire and deception of your brother? Well, now you can with this Kane mask. Only $24.99. Adam Pearce was doing that. It is going to be a steel cage match at SummerSlam. And then Solo Sikoa got arrested because I suppose there was brand new evidence that he'd set the whole thing up. Solo Sikoa, I mean, Jacob Fatu was awesome, right? There was a rumour this week as well that Jacob Fatu is going to be pushed to the moon. He has to be. He is so damn good, and he kind of offers something different from other main eventers they do have. He's got an unhinged quality, which I like a lot. But Solo Sikoa's facial expressions during all of this, the dude is probably one of the most entertaining guys on the roster, right? I think his character is great. If you go back all the way post-WrestleMania 40, when he was acting like he could be the tribal chief, but deep down he was a scared little boy, which is why he brought in Tama Tonga, why he brought in Jacob Fatu, these people that weren't meant to be there, then instantly turned on them when they sort of turned on Jacob Fatu, when he started to be more successful than him, which he talked about in his promo here without saying it. And when he said, what was the big line? He said, Jacob Fatu, once a criminal, always a criminal. Because he did get arrested in his real life years ago as well. I think he served prison time, but I'm not so sure. I may get wrong. But he did have some trouble with the law, where, of course, he's, what's the word I'm looking for? Revamped himself. You know what I'm talking about. But he did it. He rehabbed himself, and now he's back on the level. But when he said that, Solo Sikoa was so happy with himself, and he started jiggling. The man's awesome. I mean, I hope he makes it to SummerSlam. How's he going to get out of jail? Someone's going to have to post bail for him. I hope it's Tama Tonga. That's how Tama Tonga returns, because he posted bail for Jacob Fatu. It was cool seeing Jacob Fatu and Jimmy Uso, I just said posted bail for Solo Sikoa. It was cool seeing Jimmy and Solo run riot over these guys. I think that what ties into it here, again, I think we need to do chaos, we need to go crazy, and we need to make sure these dudes feel like threats. So, because SummerSlam is so close. I don't know what Jimmy Uso is doing. I think I read a rumor it could be Jimmy Uso versus... No, I haven't read any rumors about that. I don't know what we're going to do with that. That's interesting, because the singles match for the US title in a cage has been made. So that's interesting. But yeah, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair are also getting their tag team title match against Raquel and Roxy at SummerSlam. Good. We've been talking about that for weeks. This tag team, the Allies of Convenience, whatever it's called, are so good, right? They have wonderful, we hate each other but kind of like each other chemistry. They're having fun, so you can have fun. But I just really would have preferred if we had come up with something daft, like we did for everything else. Instead, Charlotte Flair was just like, yeah, I'm Charlotte Flair. I asked for one because we didn't really lose at Evolution. And Alexa Bliss was like, can we ask for more? Charlotte Flair was like, nah, let's not do that. Then they skipped to the ring. And listen, there was a certain something to it because they have good, they bounce off each other well. But it's just too rushed. It's just too silly. And again, I've talked about this on Ups and Downs. Check it out on What Culture right now. And Me Too. Subscribe all over the place. It is the definition of Geese title shot. Some people don't know what I mean by that. Give me a title shot, but I just push it together because I'm lame and my humour is stupid. But it is just essentially going up to GM and going, Geese title shot. And someone goes, yeah, okay, you can have one. I don't know what else you could have done, so maybe that's on me. But it just didn't really compare to everything else. But the match was awesome. Charlotte Flair versus Raquel Rodriguez was really fun, especially because you did have Roxy interfering and you had Alexa Bliss interfering. But because Roxanne kept doing it and she distracted the ref, Alexa was like, all right, well, if you're going to cheat, I'll cheat. She hit Raquel Rodriguez with a pom-pom, which must have had a gun in it or something. And then she did guillotine her over the top rope. And Charlotte Flair rolled her up. Now, usually these finishes are silly and overdone, but because we changed it a little bit, so the heels failed and the faces, stood up here, it just worked, man, and it helped tie into this personality thing that Charlotte and Alexa have going on. So it was good, and I do like it, and I love the fact that finally the women's tag team titles are away again. This is the third time we have proven we can do something with the women's tag team titles. The last time being when Raquel and Liv were just on a tear. Don't forget about them again after SummerSlam. Let's build up the teams. I don't care who it's got to be. Put Kiana James and Julia together. They were in the background, right? So Kiana James just come back. I think she was on main event. And Julia has no US title contenders. Let's not talk about it. I don't understand it. It winds me up. It makes no sense. And otherwise, amazing tag team match. Who the flub was it? DIY. The Street Profits weren't in it. It was DIY, Fraxium, the Motor City Machine Guns, and Andrade and Phoenix. Just watch it. It's a party match. Please get mad at me saying that. It just is. And I'm glad it is. I want more party matches. They make me feel warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum. Andrade and Phoenix won, and Andrade got the pin. That's like 3 wins for Andrade, so we are not we're in brand new territory here. It's kind of scary. I think we have to do the Wyatts versus Andrade and Rey Fenix, or maybe we'll do another big schmoz here as well. DIY was so good too, when they had their miscommunication, and Candice LeRae tried to distract, but totally flubbed up. Fraxium, everybody. I don't want to not say somebody. Everybody in this was awesome. But when Fraxium get going, future of the division and the present. I keep saying this on all the videos I do. We've got to put some of these teams on Raw. There's good teams on Raw, but they need opponents. They need contenders. Whereas the SmackDown division is almost too deep, as daft as that sounds. But it was so much fun. How could nobody enjoy this? And the other one, where I'm toing and froing on, I keep changing my mind. Stephanie Vaquer versus Alba Fire. Now listen, I like Alba Fire. I think she's a very, very talented wrestler. And Chelsea Green and her Secret Hervis are very, very entertaining. But Alba Fire's role right now is just to put other people over as we become massive nerds. And I think you do have to remember that, because us as geeks want her to have a more competitive match with Stephanie Vaquer. But at the same time, if we're in a holding pattern for Stephanie before we get to Paris, she has her world title shot, she should be beating people. It'd be nice if the match had gone longer, but ultimately if we're going to get the same effect anyway, it probably makes more sense for Stephanie to look like a beast. So what happened really, she ran through her, she hit the Devil's Kiss, obviously you have to hit that. Hit the SLB or the Powerbomb knee thing. I think she needs a new finish. It doesn't look very impactful, but that could be me being an idiot as always. So she also beat up Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, or mostly Piper Niven afterwards. So there is goodness to that, for lack of a better term. But yeah, I don't know, it just kind of felt like it was just there. I have no idea what she's doing at SummerSlam. She might not even be, oh no, actually they'll probably do her and somebody else that got involved in a tag team match. Who's her new friend? I can't even remember. That's kind of how little we're focusing on. I can't even keep it in my brain. But that will be a little bit of a throwaway match, which I don't mind too, because again, the Clash in Paris I think will be her big one. She could even win. Maybe she beats Naomi, I don't know. Bit wishy-washy, and again, a bit like, I don't really know what we're doing here. And that essentially was SmackDown. Again, if I've forgotten something, you can check out Ups and Downs over What Coach, that's the whole point. But I thought it was a terrific show. And if SmackDown needed to sort of really remind you that SummerSlam is like 10 days away, it's a week Sunday, is that right? I think that's right, it's ridiculous. We've had way too many shows. The build is too fast. That's a massive disappointment for something at SummerSlam, especially because it's 2 nights, right? And we're going to have to do something massive with CM Punk and Gunther on Monday. Maybe it's 2 weeks on Sunday. It's close, right? It's within the next fortnight-ish, which is totally mad. But Cena versus Cody night 2 to finish the whole thing as a street fight should be pretty good. And if it is CM Punk versus Gunther night 1, I guess the big question is Seth Rollins going to cash in. That story is out of control. The rhetoric now seems to be that Seth Rollins was injured and they pulled a work shoot at Satellite's main event and maybe even convinced some of the production staff this was real to create some chaos, to get out there. Seth Rollins has gone away and then maybe he comes back at SummerSlam and cashes in. I don't know. I have none of the answers. I think it's fun to talk about this stuff. I think some people are getting way too mad about it. Like, if production people genuinely got worked here and they're annoyed, I understand that. But from a fan's point of view, looking at the story, it's okay to be tricked or conned, or whatever word you want to use when it comes to pro wrestling. If this is the new kayfabe of 2025, more power to WWE for trying something new. If it falls on its ass, don't do it again. But given that we have so much television and we have so many events, you can't just continue to fall back into the same pattern. So this is Triple H's way of trying something new to see if it's going to work. Let's see if it works. Because somebody else said, oh, well, no, the plan's out there now, so he shouldn't cash in at SummerSlam, they should wait. Always stick to your plan. It reminds me of that Royal Rumble, maybe 2009, maybe that's a bit early, where everybody knew that Christian Cage was coming back, right? Christian was coming back to WWE, he was going to attack Jeff Hardy, and we were going to get back into that program. I was so excited about it. I love the fact it leaked. It made me want to watch the Royal Rumble more. And then we just changed it to Matt Hardy, and we went full in with the Hardy Boys, splitting up and doing that feud, because Vince McMahon was annoyed that it had leaked. That is so dumb, man. Use leaks to your advantage, which is what Triple H has done here. He knew this was going to get out. Maybe didn't think the rest of it was, so that's kind of complicated things. But if the plan is for Seth Rollins to cash in, beat it through a triple threat match, or CM Punk wins the belt, or whatever it is, to continue that feud, just do it. And of course, Gunther can get involved there. And let's not pretend WWE doesn't love multi-man matches in 2025. Gunther versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins for the World Championship, I don't mind at all. And still massively intrigued what we do with Roman Reigns as well. Somebody said it could be Roman Reigns versus Bron Breakker. It could be Roman Reigns and Jay versus Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed was then throwing shade at Roman Reigns this week, but I guess you could do that on Raw if you are going to have Roman in the match, because he's going to be on all the Raws up to SummerSlam. So there's lots of, the main event stuff I think is really, really good. I think we're heading in the right direction. And there are sort of real cool stuff as well. The IC belt, the women's one, is really good on Raw. The Charlotte Flair Alexa Bliss stuff is good. If we do Dominic versus AJ, I'm good with that too. Maybe the SmackDown does another multi-person match, which I wouldn't mind. The one post-WrestleMania was so good, you can do another one. If you have this many good teams and maybe a draft is going to separate them, give them one last hurrah. Kind of feel like Andrade and Phoenix have to win those belts. Would that be a short run for the Wyatts? Point is this, SummerSlam build is too short. It's a shame. I think we need to think about that going forward, although they won't. They just keep doing more and more shows. But Sozo Code Jacob are too good. Cody, John Cena good. Charlotte and Alexa good, but again, that's where you're really like, oh man. And Stephanie Vaquer kind of feels like an outlier here, which is a little bit weird. Anyway, I do now have to go because, again, I'm off doing my secret adventures. But I wanted to get a video up. Thank you so much. If you did wait for the end, especially because it's just me looking at you through a damn camera lens. But as you are here, like the video, share it, subscribe to the video on the screen. All the other stuff you can do, Big Cartel, Pro Wrestling Tees, what's the other one? Grill of Mind, Patreon. Again, all the links are down there. If you could interact and share and help, that would be awesome. If not, it doesn't matter either. Normal of a service will resume on Monday. I'll try and get a video up tomorrow too. We'll see what we can do. It's kind of hard to access the internet here. You don't need to know any of this. A little bit of a Simon Miller vlog at the end. But have a terrific day. If you didn't enjoy SmackDown, that's cool. Let me know in the comments below. All the feelings are good. It's always nice to know where your brains are when it comes to wrestling. Otherwise, take care, my friends. Appreciate the support. Goodbye.